Okay, this is a tutorial I know a lot of people have been really wanting to see, how to fix dowel bodies. You have two options here, if you want replacements anyway. The first one is getting a 23 centimeter Obitsu body. This is just about the right size to a dowel body, my shinless dowel body. And the problem with it is that it is incredibly floppy. The head, if you put one on, it just droops right over as soon as you get it on here. So I'm going to go over how to fix this, tighten it up, which also works on the 21 centimeter body. And I'm also going to go over how to hybridize these two bodies, if you happen to have one lying around that's in parts because, say for example, the feet broke off, so that you don't have to tone this one quite as much when you put them on, because another problem with these bodies is they're very pink compared to the dowels. They're a lot further away from the dowel color than the natural pull-up body is. Dowels are a lot whiter. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to fix this body, which also works with the 21 centimeter body, and actually also works with the 27 centimeter body. Any of the hard body Obitsus this will work with. Alright, first part is you're going to need scissors and foam. I know, it's really high tech. Cut a strip that goes about as much across as this. You're going to be stuffing it in there. While you're at it, this just snaps together, so take that apart. Don't worry about Obitsu bodies, they snap right back together, you're not going to break them very easily. And this is the interior mechanism for this. Take a screwdriver, loosen this up a little bit on the side, and that way this comes right off as well. Now these are the two places where you're going to be stuffing foam until you get a nice tight fit. Once you have these little rectangles, take a screwdriver, poke a hole in the middle, and cram it over the little bulb at the top up here, and stuff it in. 2 or 3 pieces on each side should do. Basically just keep adding until you feel you've got a fit that's nice and tight. There's another one. You don't have to use green either, I just used this color because it was the one that I already had in pieces. If any pieces kind of go over to the edge, stick out the back, trim them. And I'll take it off, trim it, makes it easier. Okay, top half's pretty much done. Same thing for the hip section. Only this time this is the better post because this post is going to be going into the socket. So, push it in, push it in. Actually, after you take this out, you probably want to tighten this screw back in so bottom at least will stay. Just a little bit. Doesn't have to be super tight. Push the socket in and stuff. I'm going to kind of push this down in here, it'll go over the socket. You don't really need this part to be tight because once you put this in, this part of the body, nope, upside down, gotta make sure the belly button's on the right end. This is the part that's going to be resting in the hips and being all nice and tight in there. So, let's tighten this up a little bit more because it just popped off. Belly button section, pop it on there, you can hear a nice satisfying snap. Back section, just make sure it's pointing in the right way. If it's not, flip it over, push it in, nice satisfying snap. And again, you've got a little bit of extra green poking out here, so I'm just going to take a pair of tweezers and stuff it in. If you do this on a doll that you're not just demonstrating on, you might want to use white or pale pink or just something a little bit more flesh toned, but I don't care because I'm going to be taking this out in the next step. Then, snap the top back on, and you have a very tight body. It still flexes, but it will generally keep the position that you pose it in much longer. Dal Coral has been done with this. She's in a pink body. I'm holding her. She doesn't flop backwards, sideways. Well, she does flop forward a little bit at the hips, but you can't really tighten these up. But anyway, she will hold just about any position that you put her in reasonably, and she's one of the most top-heavy dals because she has this really long hair. So that is how you make a nice, tight dal body that holds its position. Okay, now I'm going to take this apart and undo all the work that I did. So, take the bottom off, take the top off, take off the foam. If you want, you can actually leave the foam in the bottom on here. Alright, now I'm going to push the post back in. Now, if you happen to have a dal body lying around that you don't need, this is a great thing to do with it. You can see I've already removed the screws back here. That's what you're going to have to do, remove the screws, but I figured you didn't need to watch me unscrewing it for a minute or two. Take off the arms. Now, on the dal top parts of the torso, this part will disconnect, but this part is pretty much fused. So, let's take my trusty tweezers. I'm just going to jam them back here in a little gap. Kind of pry it open enough that I have a little crack here. And just pull it off. If you have the screws out of here, it'll come out very easily. If you don't have the screws out, it will not come out very easily at all. So make sure you get the screws too. When you do this, twisting the torso like this will let you get the screws out one at a time. Now, you have this ball socket up on here that actually doesn't pivot around like this one does. But since this pivots right here, you don't really have to worry about it pivoting on both ends. You still get pretty much the same range of motion. And with this part and this part, just jam it in there. It's very tight. You do have a tiny bit of a gap, but most clothes really don't show that gap, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. If you wanted, you could always file down this a little bit on each side, and then you would have a tighter fit, well, a tighter fit where you couldn't see the gap, but it would also be a looser fit in the way that it would flop around a lot more. And then to fix that, all you'd have to do is just do this fix again. So now you have the neck joint. I'm not quite sure how well the color difference shows up on the video, but it's a bit of a difference. You have the neck and torso here, and the rest of the body is the Obitsu. Now I prefer Obitsu arms. They still have a lot more range than pull-up dal arms. And all 23cm bodies come with hand options. So you can do whatever you want with those. All those different hand poses. A Obitsu body. That's the arm range on that one. Here's the dal range. That's it. So, your choice. You're going to end up with them both anyway. Normally I wouldn't even bother with showing how to hybridize a pull-up and dal. an Obitsu and dal. But because there are so many shinless bodies floating around because the ankles just break so easily, I figured there's a surplus of these little chest parts. Now,